So shout out to Jordan QG3PS. I am 15. How do I have an out of body experience that I am consciousness without a substance, which is nothing but a projection of my own mind that's already unlocked? I just didn't open the door. And then Omnis said, I have not experienced an astral experience myself. It has been a difficult process, that's for sure. So I definitely want to say, celestial rising, divine afternoon, and grand night to the beautiful deity watching this video, to divine reflection, divine messenger, and we are back with another message. Now, hold on. Let me go ahead and turn it up, All right.
I said, oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
It's your divine reflection, divine messenger. And we are back with another mindful observation for today. It's 4:30 a.m. and I'm not going to make it up to you. I know a lot of you probably getting up for school. A lot of you probably going to work. A lot of you probably getting ready just for a day to do nothing. I appreciate you overall and thank you for even deciding to tune into my videos. And I also want to say too, to all the new people who are subscribing to the channel, I do see the numbers going up, and numbers to me is, of course, through ignorance. It means, something is happening. We're getting better every single day. We're being mindful. And none of these videos can be done without y'all. So I really appreciate you for even liking and commenting and supporting and sharing, because even if you dislike it, I appreciate you as well. I can't really please everybody's ego, and I definitely don't want to, but the fact that you decide to subscribe and support me, that really means a lot, because you don't have to do that. But because you choose to, thank you. And I'm going to do my best to make sure that to my past reflection, my future self, even including you, I am and you are, contradict everything, question everything. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I am neither right nor wrong. And because I tell you that if you are new here, even though I lie, I still tell the truth. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So by you saying, Jordan, how do you have an out-of-body experience that you are consciousness without a substance, which is nothing but a projection of my own mind, and it's already unlocked, I just didn't open the door. Now the thing is, to have this out-of-body experience, speaking from that experience, by the way, because every single day I'm out of my body. When I first went up my body, because I had to correlate that to what happened to me and how I was able to navigate it, because I also got 10 key points that can help us. So I'll name them too: stillness, surrender, presence, observation, detachment, silence, lucidity, transcendence, vibration, and attention. When I put lucidity, consciousness and clarity while entering the dream or astral state. So Omnis, that'll also help you out as well. But so basically lucid dreaming. Now, whenever I had my outer body experience, that was basically when I had my spiritual awakening. And once I had my awakening, that's when I was able to, not only just that, I've been through the phase of death before, so actually eternally dying and then coming back to life and being saved. Whenever I had my accident when I was in high school playing basketball at this camp. But when I left my body, that's when I understood being the passenger in my own body, or being in the passenger seat of my own body. And the way I was able to navigate these things, so for one, being still. When I was able to be still in this moment, stillness helped me understand that, for one, it was a gateway from separation from the form. Not only just that, it helped my spiritual awareness begin to lift me up. And now when that happened, I basically went to the doorway of enlightenment. So with understanding for that last part that you mentioned, how do you, get to the, hold on, let me go back, make sure. I'd love to be accurate. All right, so it's already unlocked, you just didn't open the door. Now this door, to me, the door that I came across was enlightenment. But now the thing is though, enlightenment, as soon as I walked up to the club of enlightenment, I opened up the door, no, actually I knocked. And then enlightenment said, what do you want? I said, what makes you enlightenment to guard this door? And you still can't guard the door correctly. He gonna open it and say, what you mean? I said, look at this dumbass. So you enlightenment, but what makes you enlightened? Then enlightenment gave me an answer. I said, let's take a walk. So now all of a sudden, I got enlightenment's attention. Now enlightenment is guiding me on how it's enlightened. Dumbass nigga, you fell for the bait. So therefore, you had to basically bait the being behind the title. Now understand, I see titles like enlightenment, consciousness as children. Because When you observe the being or the entity behind the title, you will now be able to be the observer of that entitled title or the being hiding behind that title. And the thing is too, the title of enlightenment wanted to be acknowledged when I was being still without having a form of my mind. Once I left the mind, my mind couldn't formulate what enlightenment was anymore. I just went through the door. Once I did that, I was being guided into the darkest part of enlightenment to where I was shining light on it. And I didn't even have no flashlight on me because therefore I was just radiating so bright into learning that, oh, wait a minute. You're guiding me through so much infinite things that you think about as enlightenment, which keeps you enlightened, but you still have the darkest parts of your mind that aren't even conscious yet. So how are you more enlightened than me? How are you able to guard this door and I can't guard that goddamn door as a guardian? But you're the guardian of enlightenment, but yet you still not enlightened. And you calling yourself or you practicing the act of being enlightened, but that's still not enlightenment. If you practice the act of being still, you still not being still, nigga. So it doesn't matter what meditation is or being mindful, because no matter where you go, you are not actually mindful of your mind till you become mindful of your mind. What do I mean? Being mindful means that you have to be able to, once again, contradict everything, question everything. When I left this form, I was able to learn and know, and not only just learn and know, but love. When I found the empathy for what was outside my body, I love myself way more because I understood I am more than this form that I see every single day. When I'm still with myself, that's when I'm able to find bliss. So even going out in nature helped me. So surrendering. So when I surrendered, my ego had to release from the control of my solar awareness to travel. I had to let go of what I used to know. It wasn't scary for me. Even when I was 5 years old, that day, just being in my room, playing with toys, and being able to think, I was able to understand that there is a being up there, but where's the God form at? So when I surrendered my ego, I realized that life is bigger than me. Obviously, because I had an infatuation with just looking up at the sky, and I still do to this day, because even when I'm driving at night, and the thing is too, peep game. If you have a car, you probably can relate. For me, I can go leave the house right now and just go for a drive and look up. I can be having music in the background. I can be doing whatever I feel like doing because I'm being still, surrendering my ego by looking up at my lower self. Because what does that mean? So it sounds inside out. That's the whole perplexity of the mindset for looking up while I'm looking inside out. Because I'm looking up, I'm basically showing appreciation of my highest mirage. And then my mirage tells me always to stay grounded. That's exactly why, even though I look up to myself, I'm still looking down upon myself because I always stay grounded, no matter how high I think. Now, while surrendering that ego, it helped me be able to travel outside of my awareness. So even with astral projection, that's how I'm able every single day to actually project into different teachings because I'm not actually here for real. For me to be able to access and get information from different realms, from Akashic libraries that also exist within these different realms, I had to be able to stay with myself. And then once I do that, find that gateway for the video, because what I'm doing is now intention. So it's like if I'm going to being still and be surrendering towards my ego, I have to find the intention on why I'm going to go to that realm, like Rick and Morty. I would have to find out why I'm going to that realm to learn, because the thing is, I'm not going and traveling in this different beacon of a transmutation of energy that's going to get me to this realm to where I'm now seeing information outside of myself. No, what am I wanting to learn over here in this different dimension? Okay, I see that, that's cool, that's nice, but I'm here for this right here. Let me stay focused. Once I get that information mentally, because understand too, it's all dimensional meditative techniques of being mindful, so DMT, without smoking it. Now, when you're doing it, because for one, your body releases it when you go to bed at night. Why do you think you dream? So what is a dream if you're on DMT right now while being awake? Your body gets you high. You don't have to smoke to get high. You don't have to do shit to get high because you're already high even though you're sober. And even though you're sober, you're still high as well. Once I understood that, the presence now. So once I was in the presence of solarly traveling through different awarenesses, I understood that from one, weighing down my awareness into a different detachment is how my body was able to transcend from the illusion. So once I understood that, I had to pull down awareness to get its attention as well. Had to provoke it, poke the bear. Once I did that, now my awareness had to detach from my body's illusion, because my awareness was stuck to my body's illusion, but that's what kept me in the illusion as the illusionary. Now, once that happened to me, I just sit there and ask the illusionary, which is myself, my higher awareness. I was like, okay, if we're going to go into this higher observation, I was asking it questions. That's all I do as the observer, ask questions. Because the best way to become a genius, putting you on game, when you ask a question, because for one, a wise man or woman knows that they know nothing. When you know that and you say that and you ask a question, you know something now, because then you contradicted. How much do you really know? So how much do I really know? How much do you really know? You have to get better every single day on what you think you know. Now, once you're sitting in the presence of what that awareness will be and you leave your body's illusion, now you're understanding, for one, you are learning outside of the illusion of your body, because your body is the illusion, casting illusions upon you. But who are you if I can't even point to you, but I'm pointing through you? Outside of your awareness, because life is nothing but an observation from the observable realms that we call quantum, celestial, astral, etheric, the lucid, etc., etc. There's many different names for consciousness that really cannot be defined. You have to actually feel it and embrace it and go through it and then see it for itself. Once you experience it and then you can articulate that, that's how you know you're not just thinking in this third dimension that doesn't actually exist. When you leave your body, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the fourth one, observation. That was when I was able to witness the opening of portals that go beyond time and identity that I was able to identify. And this is because man, let me stop doing that. But this happened because, too, when I was able to see the awareness of the observation of portals, that's when I was able to not understand that, for one, okay, this is actually why one of my favorite movies, too, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness or whatever, that was the greatest depiction from Marvel to help us understand, even Ant-Man and the Wasp as well. But those movies or documentaries were great depictions on what we had to go through, what we experience, and whenever we're going through not only just scientific experimentations, but observations and secrecy. Once you become mindful by being still in your own presence, once you're able to go outside of your awareness of your body, you can now travel through these portals. That's what I understood for how CERN does their operations, because it only makes sense to me. If you're in Switzerland, you come out with this portal or this collider, a hadron collider that is tearing apart atoms to open up different dimensions, and even with the military as well. There's a movie or documentary called Stargate Portal. Now, if they're doing Stargate portals and this and that for so long, and you're just transmuting this energy into a different future, that's when I ask myself, then what the fuck, what time are we in? That's when I realized, like, oh, there was no Big Bang. Because the Big Bang was just the Almighty giving birth to itself. It came to a senses and said, oh, orgasm, now you got different energies squirting everywhere in space of her mind. So when she was fucking herself and then she got creative, here we are today. Now, of course, if you understand that mindset, you have to actually go outside of space to know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because planets and dimensions don't have a shape or a form. They're just thought processes or servers. We're in a server system. So if you deconstruct your monitor, if you have a PC, for example, like I'm looking at right now, if you disable or dismantle your monitor, look at the motherboard. You're looking at what you're living in, your city, your subsection, your subdivision, your neighborhoods, all these different places that you live in. That's basically what you're observing as you are looking up at your higher self. But by doing that, you have to leave your body and be conscious of the awareness, because space is the awareness between your ears, meaning that you have to be able to be aware of what's in your head. But what is in your head when it's nothing but space? So how do you fill that space up? With your thoughts, by transmuting them into a physical action of what you're thinking every single day. The next one I learned, detachment. This one, it was so hard, it's easy now. Learning detachment was so hard that it's easy now. And I hate how easy it is to become detached from people, places, things, titles. It's not that hard no more. And it hurts so bad that it feels good. It hurts so bad because it feels good to let go. Because why care about it? It was never there. It was a lesson. It was a chapter in my book. Now, of course, that sounds very selfish, but do you not have a book that you're observing through your lifestyle? Are you not, if you know about the book of life, which doesn't fucking exist, But if your mother named you a biblical being from the Bible, which we all are, but if your name's in the Bible from one, you are basically one of the chosen. So by me relating to that, and people who have other biblical names, they understand that. That's exactly why with that observation of detachment, you become free from the physical, emotional, and mental identity that you are trying to identify with the identification that the system or Babylon or these Romans or these inverted hybrid extraterrestrial beings gave you. So they can monitor you and observe you from a higher realm of being. Because what are you being in that future? That's the problem right there. When I observed my body outside of myself, that's when I was able to say, okay, now, of course, I'm being mindful at this time because it was basically, there's a point in my life to where from 2020, no, actually from 5 till now, there was a point in my life to where, even 2020 was where it got to awareness. But I asked myself, how high can you actually get? And I asked the elevator effect of that high awareness. I asked the awareness, how high can high get? And then awareness said, let me take you up through that rabbit hole that's going to bring you right back down to being grounded again when you see what you see because you asked for it with consent. That's the thing. I'll be so in my mind overthinking that I'm getting permission and access into higher realms that help me guide my thoughts for these videos, because that's why a lot of times too, my thoughts are so loud, people stare at me while I'm doing it. As I'm thinking in my own mind about my videos, someone is attracted or getting the attention from what I'm bringing towards my mind, to where they stop what they're doing and ask me what I'm thinking about. Why do you care? Now, I appreciate you caring, but that's the thing right there. Detach from their emotions because they're obligated to care because your thoughts are that loud. They feel something. It's a shift in energy that's magnetized into what I didn't know was actually expected to be happening. Before I had that observer effect, I didn't know that your thoughts can affect other people's thoughts as well. But I was always mindful of that when I was a kid by making fun of people. That really wasn't ever funny to me. That's why I didn't really like roasting or joning on people. But of course, if it had to be, I don't mind throwing shots back and forth. Of course, for fun, but just doing it just because, no. And that really makes no sense to me to do that. But detaching from even just life and family. Family was the hardest one, and no matter what, I still can't let go of them. I love them. I love them so much, I gotta let go of them by working on me. When I work on me, and once the currency starts coming in some more, it's enhanced. I'll take care of all of them. Once they're taken care of, and they become their own boss in their own life, or they find themselves again, I'm doing me. I'm living my life in silence and secrecy. Doing what I want to do by doing this. I want to be able to do this shit for so long that by the time I'm 39, 40, y'all, a lot of you who have supported me, this shit finna make me like be emotional. Cause it's like, even just being aware, being just motivated to stay consistent. It's like, I don't really see what I'm doing or acknowledging what I'm doing, because when I left my body and I was able to be aware of it and observe it, I understood that life becomes so beautiful whenever you're just intact with what you can't control. And that's the inevitable. Life is so profound to me that I take everything seriously. I am very professional with life now. I have to walk like a professional, think like one, talk like one, act like one. But of course, I still have childish moments, because why? Life is meant to be lived for the fulfillment of others through you. When you're fulfilled with yourself in life, you pour that fulfillment back to others. That's exactly why whenever I turn 39 or 40 and I look back on this shit, and when I'm still making videos even then, it's like, damn, boy, you knew what you were doing. You played stupid, but you always knew what the mission was. You never forgot that. That's why timelines and years, the Gregorian calendars are elongated for so long. But the thing is, though, these years are moving by fast because they can control the speed of time. Once I seen what time looked like, there was no emotion. There was no defining what that looked like. All I could do was just observe it and bring it here to this subconscious dimension. I learned so much that I basically stopped talking. This is the most I talk is on video or in my PS5 chat whenever I'm doing Bible study or playing GTA or whatever. But if I'm not doing that, there is no talking. Unless I'm talking to myself. And if I ain't talking to myself, then who the fuck am I talking to? If it ain't myself anyway. Once I detached from detachment, I became attached to what wasn't attached to me. And that was the almighty observer that actually cannot be observed from an almighty title that we are causing the being to want to be. A being is not almighty, but guess what? There's an observer, and that observer showed me that it never left us. That's when I knew that when I told my younger self at 5, when I said to myself, I want to get people to heaven, I knew that it wasn't me who said that. That's why I always go back to that story, because I remember saying that like it was yesterday. And now today in my 20s, it's just like I knew what I meant now. That was a future message for me. That's why that when I had that thought in my mind, playing with toys in my room, sitting on the floor and the TV was on, because I used to have the TV on for background noise. My mind was so loud, I would have the TV on for background noise. Even the game sometimes. Even if I had the game, like the PS2, for example, I could have Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 1 or 2 in the background, or Star Wars Battlefront, or Crash Bandicoot in the background, or I could have the Game Boy or DS on. But I'll just be playing with toys. But as I'm playing with the toys, though, I'm thinking about something for today. That's how powerful the mind became. Once I learned that in my late 20s, that's when I became infatuated with psychology, and then philosophy, and then sorcery, then mysticism, and then alchemy. All these different terms or titles that people attach themselves to. That's when I understood what the occult became. That's when I understood what all these shit is depicted to be. That's when I learned, for one, in silence. Silence helped me see the frequency in which my solar awareness can hear the call for me to lead this dimension. Once that silence happened, I understood that I had to lead those thoughts because they don't belong to me. That's when I realized, okay, when I detach from my thoughts, where can I put them to? Because it's like I have a safe, and then when I unlock the code by pressing that red button right there, that's when now I'm letting the lion go, or the roaring lion roam free in the zoo. Because then when I turn this bitch off, who am I talking to? Because now you look insane when you just walking around in public just talking to yourself. But then that's why you do it in secrecy. Is that demonic now? Because are you not being righteous within yourself by talking to yourself? If it's better fitting, or not better fitting, that's a new word, better fitting? Because I was going to say benefiting, but better fitting. Wow. Better fitting. I like that. When it's better fitting for you, how are you going to fit that righteous act in a world that's ran by demonic energies that come from higher thought forms? You transmute that energy through alchemy, meaning that you don't just sit with those thoughts and just be like, man, bro, I want to do this, but I'm just afraid of. What the fuck are you afraid of? No, you get the energy, you get that thought, and now you act on it. You work on it. You learn from it. You study it. You test it out now. Life is the test that you test out every single day by studying yourself every day. So how can you get to the next dimension or the next level if you can't study what you are restarting and responding in for today? I woke up after 4 or 5 hours of sleep, or 3 hours of sleep. I don't know how long I went to bed. But I just know from one, okay, she was getting Once I seen that, I said, man, my nigga, I got better shit to do anyway. Y'all getting y'all ass whooped. So background noise, right? Watching, and the thing is too, I watch games on silent. Because when I do that, how can I get my message out better for today? We're doing it now. I'm actually being aware of my thoughts to where it gets scary now. It gets scary when people are not actually doing the exact same thing. That's when I learned that from one, if you can't observe your thoughts, what are you doing? And who's being in control of your thoughts if it ain't you? I can't trust you. Because now you touch me or you talk to me or chase me energy, I'm gonna get mad. Because why are you talking to me? And you're not even yourself. Excuse me, confirmation, right? Now, lucidity. Conscious clarity that was able to help me enter the dream or astral state. Now, when conscious clarity, meaning that for one, when they used to talk about not astral, but lucid dreaming, when I used to see videos on that shit, I used to listen to them, and I always ask myself, when I get older, how can I articulate this dumbass shit? Because something's not right. Something is not right. That's exactly why when I would observe spiritual creators, content creators, or conscious content creators, I would listen to them even now. From 2020 till now, when I started social media and posting and all that. That's when I said, I'm tired of y'all getting on the internet lying. And then people will say in the comments under the video, man, you're just so wise, bro. I love your videos, and you're this and that. I'm like, am I reading this comment correctly? Once I understood that, I said, oh shit, I'm going to go into higher realms. I'm going to study y'all. Gematria. Now I said, we got a problem. We have a problem. That problem that I found was, oh shit. Let me go back and watch The Matrix again. Let me study Morpheus. Okay. That's what he's talking about, the system. Okay. Got it. I understood there's too many Neos that are really agents. Now, these Agent Smiths are the Neos trying to free themselves from Neo's enslavement by combating against an agent that was never really there. So you're already fighting against insanity by thinking that insanity has a gun. Now, when the gun shoots you, and then you need to go to an oracle to get and receive a confirmation that you always knew, then you really don't know what the message is. Because you're sitting on social media telling me or the viewer a message, and you think that I'm going to sit there and just appreciate what you said, but yet you didn't really say shit for real. So when I understood that, lucid dreaming, by the way, and lucid experiences, I realized that a lot of these people are actually not lucid dreaming. So for one, we're all lucid dreaming, but they're not aware of that conscious clarity. That's when I realized that all the implanted tears or the inverted lab-grown experiments who are climbing to get to the top, these are the parasitic beings of archonic frequencies that have already been kidnapped and trafficked from intergalactic auction slaves or auction slave observations of trafficking and farming systems. They've been programmed to be system in these different trafficking rings and higher realms that come from lucid experiences. When you astral project and you're able to be conscious in that experience and then you bring that back down here, there's no difference between that bridge. So when you go through a wormhole, the wormhole is your mind. Now, I mean that for one. That's why when I tell y'all, good and bad don't fucking exist, niggas can't sit here and tell me to not explain it to you, because for one, I always will. When I go through that observation in my mindset as I'm going to bed at night, because of course we do have to go to bed. So now when I go to bed, for one, my eyes are not closed. My lids are just closed for my eyelids that are still awake, or my eyes, my pupils being awake or still like this. But now as I close that, I'm still awake. I'm just choosing to be what? Transcended into my different deathly appearance. That's actually me taking a nap. But me taking a nap is me learning a lesson in a higher reality. So why is that happening? Because for one, if we have to go to bed, that to me means that there's a message hidden in the deepest part of your mind that you like, oh shit. It should give you chills running down your body right now. Because when you go to bed, if you're not learning from your dream, then you're not dreaming correctly. That's exactly why when I get up every single day, a video ain't nothing no more. These videos are my dreams. I'm living my dream reality right now. You're just watching me do it in the physical. To the point to where now it's going to be so common for you to actually see what's happening in the physical. You'll be like, oh shit, I got my shit right now. This shit's amazing. You're going to be like, nah, I got to do this shit. Like, this is, but see, you see how excited you're getting because now you're able to live through the different experiences that we are being socially accepted to want to observe and learn from. The fact that when you graduate high school, a lot of you are in high school, don't forget that. When you graduate, you still got more school to go to. Ugh, I know. It don't stop. Learning does not stop, and it shouldn't ever stop with you, ever. If you stop learning, you're dead. Number 8, transcendence. I was able to rise beyond the known dimensions of thought and forms. When I was able to rise above, that's why I love to say transcend. When you transcend duality, there is no duality. When you transcend unity, there is no unity. But yet we want it so bad. Unity is Luciferianism. I want you to understand that. That's exactly why I don't like saying these titles, but when I say it, I mean it with compassion. I mean it with love. I do things with the form of what love is because I hate to love. But I love so much that I can't hate it because why? It's a part of my being. And my being is non-angelic. So therefore, would that be demonic? You can call it that, but when you call it that for me, you are projecting who you are onto me. I don't accept that programming. Ew, sorry. You feel what I'm saying? Now, as you're transcending these realms, there actually are no realms because realms are the layers that we call a firmament. But once you go above that firmament, you'll realize that you are in an arcanic grid enslaved through an observation of a dome or a snow globe. What is that snow globe? You are inside the experiment of your mommy's perception and her awareness that you are not aware of. Your mom's thoughts are so powerful, you're inside them right now, physically thinking that you're actually here right now, saying, why am I here right now? Did you forget why you're here right now? And then somebody will say, yeah, or they'll give me an answer. But then when they give me an answer, they can give me an answer for 50 years straight. No stopping. You can give me an answer for 50 years straight and tell me why you're here from your mom. I'm going to sit there and laugh when you're done. I'm going to say, damn, it's been 51 years or 50 years. And on this last day, you have wasted your time telling me about ignorance that actually never was transcended. So I wasted my time? You sure did. Have a great day. That's going to be your fault. Because for one, what can you transcend that hasn't already been transcended? When I asked, that's the doorway right there. Transcendence. When I walked up to that door, transcend. Now, of course, understand, I'm high out of my mind while being sober. But even though I'm sober, I'm still high. When I went to the door and I said, transcendence. I have enlightenment with me right now. And he's saying some bullshit. So, transcendence, can you come out and just tell me, for one, see now, transcendence, she a little stubborn. I see, because, I love women. I ain't gonna lie, women look good. Like, they're art. Don't touch them, though, motherfucker. Unless she gives you consent, She's a stubborn one. Transcendence is, I walked up to the door. She looked good. She was natural. She didn't really have much going on. She's single. So I told her, I said, transcendence, baby girl. And I seen her blush and she was smiling. She was like, oh, you shining now. I said, shorty, this is a dark thought, but you shining light on these thoughts that were already brightened up from my radiance, but thank you anyways. And she was like, are you enlightened? I said, why the fuck are you comparing me to a title that's still descended down into its own enlightenment? Aren't you transcendence? She was like, aren't you enlightened? I said, why are you flirting with me, transcendence? I thought you transcended enlightenment. Why are you coming back to it? I mean, it's you. Oh, you want to go out to eat real quick? Let's go ahead and talk about transcendence. So then all of a sudden, I got transcendence and enlightenment hip by hip like two pistols in the Western time period. Boom, 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 boom. Anything in this path is getting obliterated because I got both of these different protectors guarding me. And I'm just sitting here listening to them gossip to me about guidance that they follow. But little do they know, I'm just observing what they don't know about themselves. Oh, shit. Hey, yeah. You feel me? You feel me? Now, number 9, vibrations. The energy that I had to sign a signature in was also helping me allow a passage in between these realms. Now, the thing is as well, when I was walking with both of them, transcendence and enlightenment, I was able to understand how to maintain the vibration, meaning that once I left my body, now, of course, understand too, we're still basically talking about the experience on how I was able to do it. Now, the thing is too, what makes me look fine like wine, meaning that for one, the finding and the tuning of my vibration helped me change my outward appearance to make me look better. Once I started feeling better internally and learning who I was and appreciating and loving myself and giving myself flowers, I didn't have to talk about it. You can just see it and look at it. So where now you're sitting there and you're mesmerized and you're now in a deep thought while looking at my thoughts out loud on my face. Therefore, you don't see my face, you just see my thoughts that you think may look good. But therefore, all you're doing is projecting how you look. So therefore, I am your mirror. That looks good to you. But I don't look good to me because, for one, you look good to me. But I'm talking to myself. I ain't talking to you, so you can go ahead and pause that real quick. Now let's press play. When you understand that, when you transcend what that is, you understand that, for one, by the vibration, you have to be able to get this energy and then gravitate it towards your own magnetism by thinking better, by wanting to be better in those thoughts, because those thoughts are the reason why you feel that way. But you can't feel that way until you leave those thoughts alone. Detach from them. Then when you meet transcendence, she will help you alchemize that enlightenment that you still hold on to. Now, of course, it's holding on to you because it loves you. It has to be able to guide you because, for one, why would the Almighty actually leave you in this realm by yourself as the adversary? Now, because you practice being the adversary, for one, you are learning a lesson, Satan. But I ain't talking to Satan or Shaitan, whatever you want to call your ego. Because the ego is the one that had to be guided by itself. But then once the ego learns who it is and what it wants to be, now it's a child for you. Thank you for cutting on too. But I was waiting for you, Heater. What the fuck going on? Now, once I learned that, the vibration of the ego, that's when I learned that, because basically this whole video is ego. This whole video is the flesh wanting to validate my thoughts out loud. But spiritually, I have to contradict that because spiritually, I'm just observing what I'm actually not even saying for real. But that's because the vibration I'm feeling is basically just joy. It's peace. It's abundance. It's basically compassion and righteousness and honesty as well, and authenticity. It's basically the intention that I want to give you. And intention is basically the last one as well. But it's the intention that I want to give you because it's an honest way of living. It's better to live with yourself when you know why you're doing it for yourself and your past self and your future self. Because you got to think about what you've been through in life. And not doing it for yourself as well, but for other people as well. For the ones who support you. There's some people out here who are watching you in your beginning phase, seeing how you're evolving. Because, of course, now, to me, I still feel like it's a parasocial bond or whatever. Because it's like, a lot of times, people who do shit on the internet or even in real life, people don't know how inspiring they are. Shit, I don't even know how I inspire myself every day to get up and do this shit. But I just do this shit because it feels good. And it's like when I don't have the opportunity to post, I get upset because it's like there's always that one person out there who wants me to show up like Michael Jordan would for a child who wanted to go to a Chicago Bulls game or a Lakers game or a Bucks game or an OKC game. You want to go to a Nuggets game to see Jokic or Aaron Golden or Murray or Westbrook play. But now imagine if all four of them were injured on the bench. Would you want to go to another game? Probably not. Probably so. But that's how I see these videos. I gotta show up every single day, showing somebody how I'm getting my shots up in the gym when the lights aren't even on. That's exactly how my intentions are able to help you vibrate higher, because vibrations do get us higher out of this realm that we think we live in. This realm, this world is not your home, but you make it your home because you're comfortable living in it, because you're so used to it. Stop getting used to used tos. Stop getting used to used tos. Oh, you used to do that. Oh, I used to be there. Oh, I used to remember that. Oh, I used to do... The fuck are you telling me about the past for when it's here right now? The fuck you mean you used to be in that realm before, now you're stuck here? Why the fuck are you stuck here? Oh, I don't know. You don't know why you here? I can't talk to you then. The fuck you... Then if you don't know why you here, then how the fuck am I gonna know? You can't even tell me, so how can I learn for myself? I learned that intentions, it's like a compass, a sacred compass that will be able to help guide you into leaving your out-of-body journey so you can have purpose in it. When I leave my body, because I do it every day now. When I first did it, and I was practicing, because the thing is too, when you leave and you get that passage, so for one, in your signature, in your nature, you have to be able to accept these things in your mind by having a conversation or a meeting. I meant to say meeting and a committee at the exact same time. But a committee with non-angelic meetings. Excuse me. So when you go into the realms of higher guardians, or I would say the highest angelic form of beings that are able to observe their own quantum teachings, when you're able to sit with them and get the acceptance of going into passages or gateways to these gatekeepers, Then you can learn that when you leave your body and you want to go learn these different databases that can give you information to bring back down here. Because life is all a vibration. So basically right now, throughout this whole entire video, you might as well get something to drink like water, or you can smoke if you want, so you can do whatever you want. But get high out of your mind. My videos are the drug because we are flying basically right now. We're flying with no plane. We didn't even pay for this flight. So how is it free? And yet we pay for this lifestyle every single day to fly for free. When our thoughts can do it for us, but we're not high enough yet. Now, when it comes down to that, when you leave your body to go to a different destination, so when I was in London, when I was in Paris, that's because in a lucid dream when I was younger, I seen that before. It wasn't, that's why when I was there, it didn't mean nothing to me, but it meant everything to me. I was there, documented. So can't nobody say, you ain't go look at my videos. I would never forget that shit. That's why when I was there, I told myself, we're not going to sit in London or Paris and just not make anything. No, get the fuck up and go make a goddamn video. That's how I talk to myself, because what am I going to do? Get the fuck up and make a goddamn video. I don't care if it was super cold. When to go get an extra jacket, and guess what I was doing? Outside in 40-degree weather. Celestial rising. Like, mom's in the crib sleeping shit. B&B at a nice establishment. She had to do meetings and shit on the computer. Still working hard. But guess what? I'm working harder. I gotta get her out. I gotta stop this spell. I gotta help her be aware and let her know, like, you know what? This is beyond just you and me, Mom. I want to show you what I've been working on. To the point to where there are no words. Don't shed no tears. You're good. You don't gotta work no more. You're done. I got you. Go live your life. Your son gonna always be good. That's what I learned by going into higher realms. Being aware of myself and what I'm doing in my surroundings. Always protecting the ones that I love, because no matter what, I have a higher guardian that can protect me as well. Energy never lies. So when you're walking, when you're radiating that conscious light as a Christ being, a being from that Christ divinity, when you are a divine essence and you're walking around like that and you know it and you show it to the world, the beings, the scavengers, the vultures, the parasitic entities that have no life, they will. That's the one. We smell it. I need that. I want to talk to it. I want to grab that energy so that I can live through it. I need to harvest that. What can I do? Always be aware. We are not here to just sit here and do nothing with our lives. If you're doing nothing with your life, you are one of them. And you're not the chosen one either. You are a parasitic being with no life behind your eyes. When you leave this realm, you will realize that everybody you see is not a human being. When I learned that, the videos got deeper. The thoughts got deeper. The awareness became more aware of itself. That's when I forgave myself and forgave them for what they think they're being. These are thought forms placed inside vessels that think they're living, and yet they ain't living for nothing. They can't even live for something outside of themselves because they feel as if a savior will come and save them. Why would a higher thought form save a dead one? Why would a healthy habit save dead thoughts, dead actions, dead credibility, dead responsibilities? Why would you want to go back to that? Why would you want to talk to that, communicate that with you, in yourself? Why would you want to do that for yourself when you're not living either? So what are you experiencing life and death through if they both aren't even real to themselves? And when you're real to yourself, how real can you be to your higher observation outside of your body? Having an OBE, when you give yourself consent to actually leave your body, you can do it off of being mindful or even doing shrooms as well. Acid, I don't condone to do psychedelics. Well, actually, it's plant medicine, honestly, depending on what you do, because niggas be eating bar chocolate shrooms. Like, that's not the actual shroom, my nigga. And that doesn't even get you high, but it's whatever. If you're actually getting the actual mushroom, those long ass mushrooms with the cap on it, you'll be able to actually leave your body. And that's actually plant medicine or psychedelics. And the thing is too, your past reflections or ancestors been doing it as it was growing in the ground. And it comes from shit. So of course it's like it's a different connotation on it. So I don't recommend eating fungi. But that fungi deconstructs. And the thing is, so you can go to your, I would say like Walgreens, for example. You can go to Walgreens and get it in this little form. So when I showed y'all when I was in the car driving that one day, how I had macaru, ashwagandha as well. I got ashwagandha, but psychedelic, so shrooms as well. Like you can get in little forms or whatever. You just eat it, and then of course it's recommended. It's safe. It's a vegan lifestyle if you want to call it that, but a healthy way of living. When you eat like that, then that's when you're now deconstructing your mind without actually taking the actual shroom or going and taking a chocolate bar, which doesn't do anything for you. But excuse me. For plant medicine, confirmation, the higher dosage that you are able to get into, that's the higher your vibration will become. And the thing is too, once you do that vibration for a certain amount of time, because think about it, for me, when I first did it, I was taking 6. I left my body at 6 grams, but then after that, it was 7. Weekend after weekend after weekend. I'm talking about the actual motherfucking, like, the shroom, like the actual shits that grow. And, like, you put in a bag, not the little chocolate bar. I ain't never do that shit, no. But, like, that's just, like, for one, if you do shrooms, that shit is that's disgusting as fuck. But after 7, every weekend, and 14, and 21. After that, I was like, oh shit. I just said, at one point, I was just eating my thoughts. It got so bad, I was just eating my thoughts. And I just said, you know what? I observed so much to where now I'm going to observe the observation. So now here we are today. So what will you do for your observation for today? What's today? Thursday, May 8th, and their experiment. How will you get better for today? How will you get closer to your future? How will you be able to observe your thoughts and how you feel for today and how you think for today? How will you physically react to reactions that actually don't need a reaction? How will you become consistent? How will you stay within management for your lifestyle? What will you do for your life when nobody's watching you? Have a great and divine day, divine reflection.